You having trouble with brain fog, or you having trouble making decisions, or you having trouble not getting to where you want to be in life? Are you feeling inhibited by your own thought patterns? Is your sleep disrupted? Are you having a hard time really identifying where it is you want to be, what you need to do in life? That would just mean you're like a lot of people. And the good news is that research has now shown that chiropractic can help with the neurological pathways involved in all those things I just got done mentioning. The default mode network is a series of structures in the brain responsible for integrating thought. And basically, when we're not consciously doing tasks, when we're in a state of meditation, reflection, and in a state of inward looking, even our perceptions of others is associated through this default mode network. So I want to share a research article that I just got done looking at. It's big. It's a big, girthy article, 31 pages. So I'm not going to go through all aspects of the research, obviously, because that would take forever and waste everybody's day, unless you're into it like I am. But let's go through it. Neuroplastic responses to chiropractic care, broad impacts on pain, mood, sleep, and quality of life. The study was aimed to investigate how chiropractic care affects brain function and health outcomes in individuals with chronic low back pain using neurophysiological and clinical measures. So how do they track the data? That's pretty much what they're saying. The methodology was 76 adults with a chronic low back pain, randomly assigned to chiropractic care with or without, using a usual care-only control group. It was a 4-week study. The measures used were electroencephalography, which is electrical readings on the brain, SEP, somatosensory evoked potentials, Promise 29 questionnaire for life. They also used Fitbit data for patients to track their sleep and activity. So they got objective data on patients' sleep values through Fitbit. So the key findings were brain activity changes were increased theta, beta, and alpha activities following the first adjustment. Didn't take 4 weeks, but after the first adjustment, they already saw brainwave pattern change. Decreased delta activity was seen after chiropractic care, which is sleep. A lot of people, they get adjusted, they feel wide awake right afterwards. And you see it all the time. I adjust a patient, pupils get a nice little response dilate, and they're like, oh, I'm awake finally. So that would be potentially a neurological mechanism to explain that wide awake feeling after you get an adjustment that can hit decreased delta wave activity of the brain. Just an aside as a little clinical pearl that you can incorporate into why you would get adjusted. The default mode network from this research article, you could almost kind of say like your third eye. If you really dug through this article, they get very much into our sense of meditation, our sense of self, our sense of how we're perceived by others being regulated by this default mode network. I thought it was pretty cool to see the neurological explanation of some spiritual and even meditative and esoteric thought processes that we go through. We can actually map that and see how that plays out. And we can see how clearing the brain with chiropractic adjustment enhances that network's ability to do that. Probably what I thought was the coolest point of the research. And then they saw increased peak amplitudes and readings, and that just showed improved sensory motor processing. So sleep improvements were shown, and they had significant increase in light sleep duration during the chiropractic group. Quality of life enhancements, reductions in pain, anxiety, depression, fatigue. That's really big, right? Pain, anxiety, depression, and fatigue in 4 weeks were improved, and they said these improvements started after 1 treatment. I can't overstate how important that is. I can't overstate how much our society suffers from all of those things. And I can't say enough about how poorly it's treated and how overly medicated and profitable it is for you to continue feeling like that. When you see something that's not invasive, that's restoring the neurology of the body, and it's immediately impacting pain, anxiety, depression, and fatigue, and you don't see that being pushed as the way you should go when you have those things, are you a customer? Are you in the sick care model? Who's really trying to fix things? My soapbox is big. I could get really big. I want to keep this video short, but it's ridiculous to have these findings proven time and time again with chiropractic care. You can't patent the brainstem, so they can't sell it on TV. So, you're not going to hear about it. Overall quality of life improvements with clinically meaningful score difference between the groups. The patients who didn't get adjusted were clinically at a disadvantage versus those who did. The conclusion, this study provided strong evidence that chiropractic care can influence neuroplastic changes in the brain, leading to measurable improvements in pain perception, mood, sleep quality, and overall well-being. These benefits are likely linked to changes in brain network activity, particularly within the default mode network. Maybe your default mode network isn't firing properly. And maybe the reason you can't make a big decision in life, or the reason you're not sure where you need to be, is just because your brain's not ultimately tapped in. Maybe you're not holding on to past demons. Maybe you're just not able to connect to your inner self. There's a lot of different things to try. I like all the spiritual, physical, and emotional aspects of it put together. This is a very clear documented study on the actual neurological properties that are being affected with chiropractic care without any side effects, with immediate improvements. If you were to try to medicate someone out of this state, they would tell you to take the drug for 3 months before you even evaluated its effectiveness. And within 4 weeks, you already have clinical significance in changes with chiropractic care. The research always speaks to the effectiveness of chiropractic care. The media doesn't, and who cares? So take care of yourself, get adjusted, learn the truth, stop being a victim of sick care, get in touch with yourself, maybe get that third eye fire properly, right? And be well, guys. Thanks.